This video is sponsored by Skillshare. Watch to the end to find out how you can get a free trial of premium membership. Inspired by Austin McConnell's groundbreaking video, here is 10 solid minutes of useless information about Rubik's Cubes. Now, his video was motivated by a comment about how pointless one of his videos was, which is totally not the sorts of comments that I receive. Just kidding, you guys are actually pretty awesome. A Rubik's Cube in its modern form weighs about 107 grams. Marques Brownlee of MKBHD fame often has Rubik's Cubes that quietly feature in the background of many of his videos. Although the Rubik's Cube is seen as one of the most classic 80s icons, it was actually invented in 1974 and first sold in 1975. If you turn the Rubik's Cube once every second, it would take you 1400 trillion years to go through every single combination. The Rubik's Cube was added to the Oxford English Dictionary in 1982. Also added to the OED that year, icon, spreadsheet, virtual, and breakdancing. It's not hard to guess the kind of changes happening in the world during that time. In both 1980 and 1981, the Rubik's Cube was awarded Toy of the Year. In 1979, the winner was Legoland Space Kids, and in 1982, it was Star Wars toys. The Rubik's Cube was initially invented to be a classroom teaching tool by then Professor of Architecture at the Budapest College of Applied Arts, Erno Rubik. For the record, his students thought it was pretty cool. Erno Rubik was born on the 13th of July, 1944. He happens to share the exact same birthday as Eric Freeman, an Australian cricket fast bowler, famous for being the first batsman in Test history to get off the mark in his Test career by scoring a 6. The Rubik's Cube was initially called the Magic Cube. Incidentally, the YouTube video with the most number of views that involves a Rubik's Cube is of Stephen Brundage performing magic with the cube on America's Got Talent. If you apply this scramble to a Rubik's Cube, you will get the exact pattern in the cube held by Erno Rubik in this picture. This is a Rubik's Cube meant to look like a brain, except the brain isn't a cube, but this is. It's pretty cool, but also a bit weird. In 2003, the World Cube Association was founded by Ron Van Brookem and Tyson Mao. It would be the first organization to run and determine the rules for official speedcubing competitions and monitor all times and records internationally. The very first Rubik's Cube world record was set in 1982 by Min Tai, an American teenager who solved the cube in 22.95 seconds. Today, that time would rank you about 65,000th place in the world. Rubik's Cubes have gone up pretty high in the sky, on planes, and even out of planes as people solve them while skydiving. But no cube has ever made it into space. In 1983, a kids' cartoon aired on TV called Rubik the Amazing Cube. Across 13 episodes, it featured an anthropomorphic cube complete with a face and legs, as well as magical abilities. If you twist just one corner of the Rubik's Cube, it becomes impossible to solve by conventional means. The person currently in about 28,000th position for 3x3 is Dan Fast. About 26,000 places ahead of him is a person called Raymond Go Slow. Do you have a useless fact for us?
A gorilla cannot solve a Rubik's Cube.
That's true.
And another one is no one has invented a Rubik's Cube larger than the Earth.
He's right. The first book written on how to solve the Rubik's Cube was published in 1981 and immediately became a bestseller. Its author was a 13-year-old called Patrick Bossett, who intended it just for his friends. Philip Habib is the only person from Trinidad and Tobago who has ever competed in a WCA competition and is therefore by default the national record holder for that country. For the 40th anniversary of the Rubik's Cube, Liberty Science Center and Google made a 35-foot tall cube out of lights that people could manipulate with their mobile phones. Also at the exhibition, an 18-karat gold, jewel-studded Rubik's Cube that was worth $2.5 million. Rubik's is the proper spelling of the cube, not Rubik's, which according to Google is an IT company, a type of panel, or a blockchain. Rubik's recently updated their commercial packaging. The 2x2 is now called the Mini, has a difficulty level of yellow. The 3x3 has a difficulty level of orange. And the 4x4, or the Master, has a difficulty level of nearly red. In 1982, Atari released an unofficial game called Atari Video Cube. Players controlled a character called Hubie the Cube Master to solve a puzzle by picking up colored pieces and putting them in the right space. The trick was Hubie was not allowed to move onto any square that was the same color as the one he was carrying. On the 11th of April 2020, I solved a 3x3 cube in exactly 11 12.111 seconds. A few minutes later, I got a solve time of 12.345 seconds. Netflix has a documentary on the lives of speedcubing champions Felix Zemdegs and Max Park. It was later nominated on the Oscars shortlist for consideration under Best Documentary Short Film. If you haven't seen it yet, what are you doing? As of 2021, nearly 150,000 people have solved cubes in official WCA competitions. The total average time of all of the 3x3 solves is about 23 seconds, not including disqualifications. Rubik cubism is an example of an art style called pointillism, a technique of painting usually, in which small distinct dots of color are used in patterns to form a larger image. Also known as cube mosaics, the largest ever recorded was made by CubeWorks Studio in 2014, which used 80,940 cubes. This mural was 4 meters high and over 60 meters long and featured the skyline of Macau, China. If you drop a Rubik's Cube on grass, this is the sound it makes. In 2013, a 3-year-old solved a Rubik's Cube at an official WCA competition with a time of 1 minute 39 seconds. Her name was Rusin Liu, and in case you missed it, she was 3. The first puzzle I ever solved in an official WCA competition was a Pyraminx, and I got a time of 11.73 seconds. To this day, that's still a good time for me. I could get better, but that involves actually being interested in the Pyraminx. There are 5 people in the WCA database with names that contain the word cube in them. They are Adrian Arturo Cubero Mendez, Junric Cubelo, Juan Jesus Cubels Gomez, Manuel Rodrigo Castillo Cubero, and Nuria Cubero Mateo. The first ever prototype of the Rubik's Cube was made out of wooden blocks, elastic bands, and possibly paper clips. This isn't actually it. It's an alarm clock that doesn't work anymore. On the 22nd of May 2020, American professional basketball player Steph Curry posted a video of what his family was up to during the quarantine. At 3 minutes 27 seconds, we see a short video of him successfully solving a Rubik's Cube. 2 other famous celebrities known for being able to solve the cube are Justin Bieber, seen solving it here on live TV in 1 minute 23 seconds, and Will Smith, who can clock in at under a minute. The reason Will learned the cube? Because he was playing a character who could solve Rubik's Cubes in the movie The Pursuit of Happiness. Now that's method acting. Felix Zemdegs is widely agreed to be the greatest speedcuber of all time. Until 2019, he was also the only person in the entire WCA database with the name Felix. While his 3x3 was obviously the most popular, Erno Rubik also invented a few other puzzles, including the Rubik's Snake and the Rubik's 360. The snake's pretty simple and fun. The 360 I have no idea how to solve, but I'll probably figure it out one of these days. By October 1982, the New York Times declared that the Rubik's Cube craze was over. This was thought to have been caused by cheaper counterfeits and alternatives. Solving a 3x3 with feet used to be an official event in the WCA until it was removed on the 1st of January 2020. This was primarily due to concerns around hygiene and logistics and its low popularity. The world's fastest feet solvers all clocked in at under 20 seconds. This is a pillowed Rubik's Cube, and this is a concave Rubik's Cube. They can sort of fit together, although not as well as I would like. On May 19th, 2014, the Google homepage featured an interactive Rubik's Cube that was fully solvable. The first time I tried to solve it, I took over an hour and then gave up. More recently, I managed to get a personal best of 1 minute 22. I could probably go faster, but yeah. Why? This is a Rubik's Cube Rabbit. It is a 1x1x2 puzzle and very, very easy to solve. I'm not entirely sure why it exists. Right now, the number of people who can officially solve a 7x7 Rubik's Cube in under 2 minutes is 7. This Rubik's Cube has pictures of my whole family, but it doesn't look very nice when it's scrambled. The person with the longest name in the WCA database is Tengku Muhammad Afnan Falik bin Tuan Farizuddin Ahmad. To date, USA holds the most number of current and past speedcubing world records. In second place, Australia, where I live, and in 7th place, the birthplace of the Rubik's Cube itself, Hungary. 17 years before the Rubik's Cube, an American inventor, Larry Nichols, actually designed a very similar puzzle that was held together by magnets, but was rejected by most toy companies. Rubik's has a long history of venturing beyond cubes and making other unrelated but fairly interesting games. The Rubik's Race and the Rubik's Perplexes are 2 such examples. In 2014, Kevin Hayes solved 3 cubes underwater in less than 1 minute. It's become one of the most widely viewed cubing videos on YouTube, with nearly 63 million views. The next year, he did it again and solved 8 cubes underwater. Strangely, that video only has 10 million views, which is no small feat, but I'd personally like to see it get even more recognition. Just saying. Of the 100 fastest official 3x3 solves ever, 16 belong to Felix Zemdegs, and 13 belong to Max Park. And finally, if you search Google for the 1x1 cube world record, it tells you that it's 8 minutes, 59 seconds. I don't think that's true. If it isn't already obvious, I'm a big fan of learning, even if it's of useless stuff, and growing your creativity. I've said it before and I'm gonna say it again. If you haven't checked out Skillshare yet, you totally should. Skillshare is an online learning community offering thousands of inspiring classes for creative and curious people like yourself on topics including illustration, design, photography, video, freelancing, and more. I recently did a course by Marcus Brownlee himself, who I mentioned earlier in the video. He talked about how to increase your YouTube game, and man, the insight and experience he shared, it's something anyone could benefit from. I know some of you might be thinking, hang on, if I want to learn stuff using videos, I've got YouTube, why do I need Skillshare as well? There's a massive difference. For starters, there are no ads on Skillshare, so you can be completely focused in what you're learning. Skillshare's classes usually include a combination of video lessons and a class project, so you're not just learning, but you're interacting as well. And most of their classes take less than 60 minutes to complete. For less than $10 a month with an annual subscription, it's a no-brainer. I'm paying for one myself. And just to sweeten the deal, the first 1,000 people who use the link in the video description will also get a free trial of Skillshare Premium membership. Thank you, Skillshare, for making this video possible, and thank you for checking them out. Please subscribe if you enjoyed this, and if you noticed the stuff that I'm wearing in this video, well, Tingman merch is going to be available in just a few weeks. If you're watching this in the future, it's already available, so check out the link to my store in the description as well. Okay, that's it from me. Goodbye, and goodbye. Whoa, that's like really dark. Ooh, spooky. I'm a ghost. Ooh.